Hey YouTube, this is Zach with Achilles Financial, and we are back with another day in the stock market. And just to go ahead and get it started, the purpose of this video is to review yesterday's plays and to talk about Uber stock, which again saw a big earnings play today, or I don't know if I would classify it as a play, but it saw some earnings moves today. And then lastly, we are going to say what we think is going to happen in the near future. So, just to recap the play that we made yesterday that I pulled out of today, basically at break even, and I can showcase that, is the Disney put. And I personally was bearish on the expectation for unemployment numbers, and the continuing claims numbers came out today significantly lower than expected, like 500,000 people. Now, admittedly, this is still higher than anything we've seen, I think, since like the 1980s in terms of numbers. But this was the first pre-crisis level of unemployment, so that was at least refreshing to see. So that was the one we were watching. That being said, Disney opened down, and I sold basically at broke even on those numbers. I was actually surprised that it opened down, and I got out of that trade that we played yesterday. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm still bearish on Disney short term. I think that what we see here is just courtesy of the broader marketplace in general. I do want to remind everyone there's a ton of government stimulus in the economy, as can be seen by gold, silver, as well as the bond market. However, this was optimistic. People are optimistic, and I personally think that we're going to see SPY hit a new high before we kind of see it come back based off of what we're going to see in the near future. So just to highlight where we're at today, SPY has the all-time high, or at least the high today, of like 338 is all-time high. And I just want to highlight, if we look at the 6-month market here, just look at these numbers. This is insane. So let me do year to date. Look at these numbers. I mean, we're all the way back to where we were pre-crisis. So this is, if we go to a actual 1 year, we are well ahead of where we were in October, September of last year. Well ahead of it. I mean, we're not at the 300 level at that point. This is largely driven by gains in tech, which they had another awesome today with NASDAQ at all-time highs. And as you can see, this is just pretty crazy. But I think that we're going to continue to see those type of moves. If you look at the week, again, we are just very, very optimistic. I anticipate that's going to continue. So with that being said, the play that I made today is I went back in on my TSM call. The reason for that is because, again, the market as a overall, here's the play I've got. I've got the August 21st calls, the 90 calls. So I am waiting to see how those play out, but let's go ahead and just look at, let's not place that order. As you can see, we saw this movement a few days ago that we played. Today it actually opened up. I am looking to play this open up, so I got the 90 calls. If we open above 92 tomorrow, I think I'm down like $3 or $4 per each one of those calls right now. If we open, that's when I'm looking to share, unless we anticipate seeing those go all the way up. So that is what we did yesterday. That is what we did today. Now to talk about Uber. So Uber is another stock that I really like the idea behind the company. I like the company as a whole. I'll leave it on the week view just so you can see it here. There's so much good with Uber, but they're just not profitable. And they lost I can't say nearly 2 billion when it's 1.78 billion. It's just difficult to fathom how many numbers are still left between those two rounding up. But again, it really lost $1.8 billion in a single quarter. We saw a lot of growth in Uber Eats. However, the business just is not profitable. So they need to grow that profit, decrease expenses, increase revenue, but there's a lot of promotions there. There was talks of them purchasing Grubhub. So you can see right here that if we look at the year to date, they're again basically even, higher than they started the year, but basically even with pre-crisis levels. And that is good and beneficial for them, but I'd really like to see it drop lower and show a little bit more oomph, I guess I would say. I just want to see something a little bit more exciting here, but I think I'd like to start building a position in Uber because they do have a lot going for them, particularly as the economy reopens, as vaccine news is announced. So this is one that I like and I am interested in owning. In the short term, I don't want to be purchasing based off of this right here. So again, if we look at the past month, you can see that I'm catching the tail end weekly right here. I'd like to see it drop back down under $31 a share, realistically under $30 a share, before I start building a position. But that's what I'm going to be looking at and building out on. And that is my review of Uber. Again, a lot of pros to it, but they just aren't profitable yet, and that is concerning to me. So I need to finish out a few other positions, unless I see them drop kind of the 30 to 31 range or below. I'm not really going to be looking to buy those. So those are my trades. I am in on the TSM. We'll look for that to happen tomorrow. If anything else, again, thank you for your support, and I look forward to seeing you all tomorrow. Thanks, everyone. Talk